And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with Tom Vasel.
Super Dungeon Explore expansion, Caverns of Roxor. This is an expansion for a game, Super Dungeon Explore, which takes it basically is Gauntlet, that old video game, basically that in board game form. It has the little chiba, whatever they're called, the figures with the giant heads and regular bodies. Real silly artwork and stuff, but a fun game, one that is actually still in my collection right here. I enjoyed a lot, so I was very pleased to see this expansion, because I love expansions. But is this one worth it? Let's look. Okay, this has basically a new faction in this game, and it's led by this leader, Roxor. Here's Roxor here. He's this giant creature. Looks pretty cool. And here's one thing, let's talk about this before we go any farther, is that the majority of the pieces that come in this set are one piece. I believe there's a couple that are 3 pieces, but that's a far cry from the 10, 12, 15 pieces from the original one. Really like it. Now this guy is cool. Basically there's 2 factions that are included in this expansion. There's fire and there's rock. Well, this guy is both. He's the big mega super boss, and he can switch back in forms from rock and fire. Now I actually think that this final boss he's cool, but I'm actually more impressed with his minions than anything else. So let's take a look first at the fire minions who come from this lava world. This is the spawning point. And this is one set that I really got to paint these. But anyway, let's talk about, first we have the burning gels. Now the burning gels are neat. They're little fire pieces here. And they almost look like a fiery Pac-Man with their big mouth going around. But what's cool about these guys is when they are killed, they split into 2 smaller ones. I always like enemy creatures that split into smaller ones. I guess we can be glad that these smaller ones don't split into smaller ones than that. But that's still a neat concept to have. Then we have some other, let's see, we got the Blaze Beetle. This is one of the few models that has an extra piece on top, but still. And again, this is one that would look really cool with that fire coming out of it as it needs to be painted. And then we got some Ember Hounds. These are fast dogs on fire. Okay, so that's the fire half of this, but the bigger half of this is the rock piles, which here's the rock pile spawning points, and they star the turtles. Okay, now the turtles are cool. These are the Crusher turtles, but the turtles are really cool. I like these Slowpoke turtles. What's neat about these Slowpoke turtles is that they have the ability to switch and to basically change into shell form. So they can go into shell form, which makes it harder to damage. And they actually have a different model here where they can drop into a shell form. So all these, and there's 6 of them, the Slowpokes can change into shell forms. Now, anybody who is of any age who sees a turtle in a shell is automatically going to think of Super Mario. And that's cool. You know, I like these shells, but wouldn't it be great if we could throw these shells across? Well, we do. We have a roller. This is a big turtle, and he has the ability to slide these shells, to shoot these shells up to 6 squares at the opponents, and that's neat. I'm sorry, for me, that makes this whole set right here, because that ability is a really cool ability, neat and thematic, and again, makes me think of Super Mario. Here's one of the fire guys I forgot about, or is he Rock? Rock Gut, where he's on fire. And then, speaking of Super Mario, we have the Bombardier guys. These are the guys that have 3 parts. Not too hard to put them together though. Both parts are just different handles on the sides of the cannon, like thus. But these guys have a nice range, can fire. They have a range of 10. And they make me think, you know, I like anything that has a cannon and a turtle. The theming of these bad guys is a really neat one. So we have rock and fire. We have 3 new heroes that are also included, and again, these guys are one piece, which is great. We have the Star Guild Sapper, which is basically a guy who walks around with a big hammer and can smash that hammer down for extra strength. I like him. Then we have Princess Ruby, Think of her as the princess from Mario. I guess this is a Mario set. And she has a bunch of augment skills, Maiden's Favor, Maiden's Tokens, Maiden's Kiss. She's not that useful by herself, but she can help everyone else around her. I don't know that I really like using her that much because she is very useful to have around. But if she gets separated or she's by herself, she's just not nearly as useful. On the other hand, we have Deep Root Scat or whatever. This is Link from The Legend of Zelda. Because here he is with a sword and shield, and what's his side weapon? Oh, a boomerang. And, I mean, that has a hook shot, he has acorn grenades, and he's my favorite character of the three. I mean, don't get me wrong, having a giant hammer to hit stuff is all cool and all, but he's versatile, he's fast, he has some really neat abilities with the boomerang and such, so he's one I think that you'll see have a lot of play in games. And finally, this set has some new treasures, some new loot that you can find. Basically what they're doing here, and it's something that I wouldn't mind seeing more of, is they're taking these, and instead of just being attack ones, now they have special abilities on them. So as we look at these loot, like the Fool's Gold, I think is a neat thing because you can get extra things. But for example, the Grimy Grim Granite Greaves are +1 armor, but they also make you immune to knockdown, slow, and immobile. So that's just a nice addition to have. So that's basically everything that comes in this expansion. Okay, things I really enjoy about this expansion. Obviously, I like the pieces. Oh, I noticed to put pieces together, no glue. In fact, when I open up the regular box to put the pieces from this expansion in, and they all do fit in the regular box, although we'll probably, I don't know what will fit many more in there. But as I was putting them all in, I opened the regular box and this wave of glue hit me. And so I felt good for a while, but I did notice that I don't have to worry about that with my older pieces, or with these expansion pieces, because I need very little glue at all. But they still paint well. At least the pictures I've seen, I do plan on painting all mine at some point. But content-wise, love the 3 new heroes, love having all these heroes to pick from, but I love the variety of monsters. One of my criticisms of the game when it first came out, not necessarily criticism, but it felt kind of samey because I'm using the same monsters all the time. Now I have 4 groups of monsters to pick from, and these new monsters and the new heroes and the new weapons all seem to have more options. They also have a lot of flavor. I'm a huge Mario fan. I love all the Mario games, and let's not lie, there's a lot of Super Mario here in this box. I'm waiting for the little mushroom people to come in the next expansion. I like it. I think this adds a lot to Super Dungeon Explorer. I know that the Super Dungeon Explorer in this game are pricey games, but they will provide you with a lot of fun as time goes by, and the models are really top shape. So, is this a good expansion? Yes. Is it essential? Maybe.
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews, as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find the latest board game news at Dicetowernews.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Fun Again Games, the world's best game source. Fun Again Games has over 5,000 games available. Check them out at funagain.com.
Shut the door.